Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Ellen, and if you are new here, I make art, design, DIY, and lifestyle videos. And today's video is sponsored by me and my small business, WatermellenDesigns. I make whimsical, handmade home decor, jewelry, and accessories. And if you would like to check that out, I have linked my Etsy shop in the description below. In today's video, I will be making a baby blanket, but not just any baby blanket. It's going to have strawberry granny squares. And here is one of them. I have been trying to figure out the pattern. I created my own version of a pattern that I saw on Pinterest. I can't really read patterns yet, so I have to figure things out for myself most of the time. This is the end result. I'm happy with it, but I need to make a lot of these to complete a blanket. Now, before we get started, I'm making this blanket using Peaches and Cream 100% cotton organic yarn. It's one of my favorite cotton yarns to use for certain projects. It's machine washable and dryable. This yarn requires a 5mm crochet needle. I would also like to mention that this project takes 4 different colors. You will need green, red, pink, and white. And the reason you will need pink is because I am also making pink strawberries. So the blanket is going to be kind of a checkerboard pattern with alternating red and pink strawberries. I'm really excited about this project. Normally I do my intros before I start the project at all, but I kind of wanted to do a test run, make sure that everything is good to go, especially since I've never done a full granny square project before. This will be my first time making a blanket out of granny squares or completing this kind of project. And I think it's definitely pushing me out of my comfort zone, but that's really good for me. And I'm learning a lot already. Well, without further ado, let's get into the video. This is more of a craft vlog than a tutorial, so I'm not going to attempt to explain the entire pattern to you all. Rather, I'll show you a quick run through of me making a strawberry granny square. I am pretty proud of myself because for this project, I finally taught myself how to do a magic loop to start my granny squares. I've had a hard time with this in the past, so this was definitely a small win. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I have been feeling like there was something missing, just with the plain white border. And this is kind of how the granny squares looked on Pinterest, and honestly, I just feel like there was something missing. So I went ahead and did a couple practice swatches, and I think what I'm gonna do to add some extra fun, to add some extra color, and also like make the squares a little bit bigger, I'm going to add a pink border to my red strawberry squares and a red border to my pink strawberry squares, and alternate all of those. And I think I'm gonna have rows of 5 to create the whole blanket. So this will kind of be my starting pattern, and I'm gonna add a border to all of these. And when I finish all of my squares, I plan on crocheting them all together using white thread. I watch a lot of shows and movies while working on large crochet projects because it actually helps me stay focused. I watched the Netflix original movie Choose Love, which is an interactive movie where you can make decisions for the main protagonist and affect the final outcome of her story. There were 3 love interests that she could potentially end up with, but I didn't really like any of them, so that kinda took the fun out of it. However, I thought the concept was neat and enjoyed the idea of an interactive movie. Hi, I just finished my second cup of coffee today and I am now running on caffeine and 5 hours of sleep because I keep staying up really late to work on this project. I have done a time study to see how long it takes to do 1 row of 5 granny squares, and it took about 4.5 hours, which means each square takes a little under an hour to complete. This project is a lot more time consuming than I was expecting when I got into it, because I made 1 square and thought, oh, once I get the hang of this, it'll be easy. But the reality of it is a 4-color granny square, and as I'm working, I'm tying in my ends, because that is not something I want to do at the end. So in the end, I'm saving myself trouble having to do that. Because I know a lot of people who crochet, one of the things that I've heard that they do is they don't tie in their ends as they're working. And as someone who hasn't done a lot of projects where I have to tie in ends regularly, because a lot of the projects that I do, I just choose maybe 1 color of yarn and make the whole thing. I will say, now that I've stepped out of my comfort zone and I'm doing more colors, I really like the way that it looks. So in the future, I want to try and branch out and do more complex projects that involve multiple colors. So my status update for this project is that this is as far as I've gotten in almost 4 days. I also need to get a blocking square to try and block my granny squares. Something I didn't know about granny squares, apparently I should be blocking them so that they're all nice and even at the end. So this evening I might get on Amazon and purchase a blocking square. I also binge watched the entire live action One Piece series while working on this blanket. I wasn't sure what to expect going into it because turning an animated series into live action has in the past been notoriously problematic, but I was pleasantly surprised. The creators stayed true to the original series, and the musical score was also really great. However, if you haven't watched the animated series, you might be a little confused by the costuming, unique characters, and world that they live in. Overall, it's a cool swashbuckling adventure, and I'm hoping they make another season. Good morning! I'm still wearing my PJs. It's actually not morning, I think it's afternoon. I've been staying up until like 3 and 4 a.m. working on this project, and I want it to be done. It is now day 5 of working on this project, and I thought I could get it done in 2 or 3 days max. I thought it would be pretty simple, but no. This would not be the first time that I have been incorrect about the complexity of a project. I think it's beautiful. I'm really proud of how it's turning out, but it's time consuming, and I think it's because of the fact that I am changing colors, and I think I mentioned that earlier. But the other thing I've noticed is my hands hurt a lot more with this project than previous projects, and I think it might be because of the yarn. I'm not 100% sure, but it is cotton yarn, and I feel like the texture and just the way that it moves is different than, say, a wool cotton blend or even like polyester or acrylic yarn. There's something different about it. If you've crocheted with cotton yarn and know why my hands might be hurting more, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter, because I know in the past I feel like I've had less trouble with my hands hurting during projects. Like last week I made those fluffy star pillows. That was a good video if you want to check it out. But I don't remember my hands hurting this much. And it's like, that yarn is thick. You would think working with that might cause some issues. But no, I mean, I got the usual, like, maybe a little bit of stiffness in my muscles and my hands when I was working if I didn't take breaks. Maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe it's not even the yarn. Maybe it's me not taking enough breaks. So that could also be my fault. Hello, it has been several days since I finished making the last granny square. The reason I waited to finish this project is because I want to do it professionally, I want to do it the right way, so I ordered a blocking board. And it has arrived. I haven't seen it yet, so I hope it's good. Ooh, plastic. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow. Ooh. Ooh. I like that this is adjustable, so I can set it up like this to kind of display them if I want. This is nice. Let's see if the little pins work. They are a little loose, but I don't know if that matters because I've never had one of these before, so I don't have a frame of reference for what this is supposed to be like. Okay, let's try it with a granny square. Ooh. Okay, so maybe I need to set it flat. Okay, maybe I set them too far. I'm not really sure. Like, I think this is correct. I think that's how I'm supposed to do it. Seems good. Okay, I added some more pins, which I think is the correct way to go about this. What I am going to do is launder all of my squares. I'm actually gonna do that next, and we're gonna do a test square. I'm really nervous because I probably should have done this at the beginning of the project, but I lacked the foresight to do this. But do wash a test square just to see if the colors run, because I'm using a combination of white, red, and pink, and red dye will often leak into white things. So we'll see what happens. It's probably fine. The colors on my test wash blocks did not run. So it is time to wet block my squares. Let's go. I ran my granny squares through the wash and the spin cycle a couple times to get most of the water out of them, and now I'm gonna block them. Blocking these was a bit tedious. I decided to try the wet blocking method because I knew that I'd be washing the squares anyway. In the future, I plan on dry blocking my squares while I'm making them. That way I won't have to block them all at once. It is day 7 of working on this blanket, and I'm almost done. Let's go finish this. To finish up the blanket, I laid the squares out to keep my rows in order and the strawberries facing in the right direction. I then attached the squares with a clean top stitch in white yarn. This took a long time, but looked really nice. The most difficult part for me was adding a new square each time and making sure the stitches lined up perfectly. After that was finished, I added a border of double crochets in white to finish and tie everything together. I am back from my parents' house and hanging out in my art room. This project took way longer than I was expecting, but the results were rewarding, so it wasn't an inconvenience or anything, and I learned a lot from the process. If I was to do this project again, I would probably try and spread it out over a longer period of time, because trying to get this done in a week or so was daunting. Now, real quick, here is the blanket. I'm so excited with how this turned out. It looks so good. I'm so happy. And seeing as this was my first granny square project, I'm very proud of the results and just how fun this is. I really hope that the recipient of this likes it, and I mean, it is a baby blanket, so I hope it's something that they cherish for a really long time, even though like when they're older it's kind of small to use, but it's cute. But the top stitching turned out really nice, and I added this fun border to kind of help tie everything together at the end. This is the back side. As you can see, it does not have the green. Still looks good though. I don't think I would want the back side to have the green just because it's this bumpy texture, and it's probably more comfortable if that's on the base. So yes. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more art and DIY content like this, please let me know in the comments. I actually had a couple recommendations from one of my subscribers recently who had some fun art ideas, so there might be some scrapbooking and potentially custom vinyl in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell button because I do my best to upload regularly. Thank you so much for your time and for watching my video. I really love making content for you all, and you watching my channel helps me grow as an artist and designer and a YouTuber, and I really appreciate that. Well, until the next video, I am out. Bye!